It's got the counter. It's just not showing the video yet. So we should be live. Welcome
At some point.
everyone. Yeah, at some point in 20 minutes from now, you'll pop into the middle of our conversation and be like, okay, I guess, yeah, sure. I'll figure out what y'all are talking about. But yeah, welcome everyone. Okay, cool, sweet. I see a few people popping in here already. If you're watching live, wherever you are, just drop your name in the comments. Just let us know what you're doing, what you're where you're at. We are in different time zones right now, so it is earlier for you, Gina.
It
uh,
is. This
and
was a
the,
struggle.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm like
I,
still like having my first sips of coffee.
yes. Oh man, I could go for another coffee right now.
Support this.
We're, yeah, a little behind the scenes. We just moved, and by we I mean like me and my family, not you. You didn't move,
No.
but like I'm still here. But yeah, we're in a new place, so this is a very blank office. Everything's still in boxes, and my coffee maker and everything is
Oh.
still not put together yet. So I ran for a quick Chick-fil-A this morning and got one of those mocha cream cold brews. It is pretty good.
I was gonna say, is that like a level up from your normal coffee? Or
It's
no?
no, no, it's a few
Okay.
levels down. It's not great coffee, but but it's something different. And I was like,
Yes.
because I'm a bit of a coffee snob where I love like a good coffee roast.
Mhm.
And there's one that's like semi-local. It's like a Texas roast that is roasted with coconut flakes. So the coconut
Ooh.
flakes like make it nice and creamy and smooth and like cut the acidity. And I love it. I had it at a wedding. Oh, it was like 2012. It was like a brunch wedding where they got married. It
Yes.
was, speaking of early mornings and trying to get together, that was so hard because their ceremony was, I think, at like 9:30 in the morning or
Oh,
something.
it's
And
like those weddings always sound good, and then you get there
yeah,
and you're like, okay, this is early for everybody.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like at a lot of normal weddings, you're there at like 6 a.m. getting hair and makeup done. I don't even know
Yeah.
what time they started hair and makeup for that
2
wedding.
a.m.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna start last night, and
Yeah.
but yeah, it was amazing coffee. And I asked the caterers, I was like, "What is this?" And it was just a local grocery store that roasts them.
Ooh.
And I have been buying that for the last however many years that is now, 11 years.
You see me over
And
here like this.
yeah, I was like 12 plus what? But yeah, that is what I normally have. And it's normally nice and smooth with a little oat milk in there. And today it was just, Chick-fil-A.
Oh.
So it definitely left me wanting. And I'm always drinking coffee constantly. So I am definitely needing another one now. But maybe I'll unpack that after this. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, well,
Or
okay. I guess we can get
let's just talk
into.
about our coffee
Well,
the
let's just
whole
talk
time.
about what coffee are you drinking today, Gina?
Drinking a Starbucks. I literally door dashed it.
Nice.
Don't judge
Nice.
me. Don't come at me right now. I told
Hey,
you it was really hard to get ready at this time.
yes, it is. I grew up very like, we didn't have a lot of money, and it was, we would never order delivery like DoorDash,
Yeah.
Uber Eats, anything like that. Whenever that started coming out, I was like, why would you pay an extra $3
It's so true.
to, and now I'm just like, I want to DoorDash everything. It's just the amount of time that it saves you.
Yeah.
Because like even this morning, I should have DoorDashed the Chick-fil-A because it took me 10 minutes to drive to Chick-fil-A. And then I had to
Yeah.
wait in line and then go through everything. And then I got back here like 10 minutes before my meeting with a couple this
Before.
morning. And I was like, I had to scarf down my food really quickly. And I was like, I could have just DoorDashed this. And been able to prep for this meeting better and had more
Yeah.
time to eat and all of that. And yeah, the just those like $3 to $5 for delivery fees seemed so monumental just because we would have never paid for that growing up.
Oh yeah.
But now I'm like the amount of time that it saves, like for door dashing stuff or
Yeah.
doing like a meal service like
Mhm.
HelloFresh or something. It's like, no, it is so much worth like the time that it saves you and the
It is so
effort and
true.
everything is so much better. So yeah, no
Yeah.
judgment at all for door dashing your
I
Starbucks this
don't do
morning.
it every day, okay? This is a special
Hey,
occasion.
yeah, this is my normal 8 a.m. DoorDash.
Yeah. I'm like, hello, Kenneth, who dropped
Yeah.
off my coffee. I don't know you.
Okay. Well, sweet. Well, yeah, I guess we can start the podcast. I think I'm just gonna leave all this in here as everyone can enjoy our coffee banter before we get going.
It's
But
all
yeah.
fun.
Well, Gina, welcome to the episode. Welcome to the podcast. I'm excited to just chat with you. I like once I found you on Instagram, I was like, we're like we're kindred souls. Like it's I was like, this is just gonna be an easy friendship. Like this whole conversation is just gonna be super easy. Just like a lot of the stuff excuse me, a lot of the stuff that you talked about like on your stories and things, like loving tacos and all that. I'm just like, yes, I love
Yes.
tacos. Just it's
Who
the
doesn't?
best.
Who doesn't?
Some people. I don't
It's true.
know. I mean, if you're listening and you're like, yeah, I don't love tacos, I don't understand you, but it's okay. I will still be your friend. We just probably won't
Maybe
won't share
eat
tacos
together.
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I know this is like a, who's your favorite child type question, but what's one of your favorite tacos?
I usually just go with like some kind of a chicken taco. It's not anything crazy, but it's from this like truck that's parked outside of a pawn shop.
Uh,
Um,
yes. Okay.
so
Yeah.
like that's how you know it's good. Is like it's parked
Yes.
outside of a pawn shop, and you're not sure
Hmm.
if there's running water. So it's
Yeah. Those are the best. Those are
yeah. You roll the dice like the first couple times, but like if you don't get sick, you're like, I'm here. I'm a lifer. I'll be back.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There was one my brother and I live about probably 2 hours away from each other, and there's a small town like midway, like almost an hour for both of us. And every now and then we'll just meet up and go grab some food, grab a beer, whatever, just catch up. And we met up and I was looking at all these different Mexican restaurants because we're in Texas, we love some Tex-Mex, and I found a food truck that was just a little street taco place,
Mhm.
and it was parked outside of some abandoned building. Like it used to be it used to be a building and now it's all boarded up, and I was like, this is probably legit. This is going to be some
Promising.
good tacos. And they were. And I was like, this is almost worth the hour drive just to come here for these tacos. So yeah, I love that.
Amazing.
I love that. Those just like, yeah, street tacos. They're the best. The
How you
little,
know it's good.
yeah. But yeah, so okay, Gina, where are you based and like what do you photograph? What all do you do?
Yeah, I'm based in Washington. I don't want to say Seattle because I'm like south of Seattle, but for
Okay.
you, I'm gonna say Seattle. For everybody else outside of Washington, I'm in
Uh-huh.
Seattle.
Okay.
And I shoot weddings primarily and elopements. So the
Nice.
occasional family sesh, occasional other sesh, but yeah, that's primarily focused on weddings and elopements, and primarily in the Pacific Northwest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Are you like born and raised Pacific Northwest or did you move up there?
Yeah, born and raised here. Went to school
Nice.
like all the way through school here. We did live in Pittsburgh for a few years, so that was like our like out getting out of the Pacific Northwest, but like quickly
Yeah.
came back. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, Pittsburgh's very different
it
than like
is.
the
It was so
Seattle
fun.
area. I love Pittsburgh. All the
Yeah,
bridges and everything
so many.
is
Driving's a little hard.
Driving was difficult. Yeah. Trying to navigate like where I need to go and like, oh, I got to
Yeah.
cross this bridge and then this one to get
Yeah.
over to
Yeah.
this
And
place.
then you
Okay.
miss it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. Now
And yeah.
Pacific Northwest though. This is where family's
Nice.
at, so it's good
Nice.
to be back.
Cool. That's fun. I love it up there. I love like the the nature and like all the greenery and
Hmm.
forests and I love the weather too. I know that a lot of people. My wife is solar powered, so she was like, I could never live here. Anytime we have friends in like the Queens Anne area, and
Oh
we'll
yeah.
go visit every now and she's like, yeah, this is great for 4 days, but I need my son, and um,
It's true.
but yeah, I'm just like I could live here. This is so great. I love it. So that's awesome. I love that you're like a local and not one of the many photographers in like the last 10 years that were just like I'm gonna go move to the PNW and call
Yeah.
myself an elopement photographer and crash here.
Hey, we welcome everybody up here. It's all
Okay.
good.
Yeah. Well, sweet. Well, okay. So we're chatting about getting more leads and attracting more inquiries and how to do that. I know a lot of people like this is a touchy subject because there's there's so many different things you can do and
Yeah.
so many things it's like I don't know where to focus and what to do. I put a poll on Instagram
Oh yeah, I
before
saw
this
that.
yesterday, and I think I did like four different options. Like, how are your leads? How are your inquiries coming? And it's like, I'm thriving. Um, you know, I want, you know, they're good, kind of, here and there. I could definitely use some more. And then like, what leads? And out of all of them, it was split 50-50 on the what leads, and I could definitely use some more. And then one
Oh good.
person
Oh
said that they
bad.
were thriving, and I was like, oh, who is this one person who said they were thriving? And it was you.
I kind of felt like I needed to say that though.
I
Like
know, yeah. I
someone's
was
gotta
like,
be.
that is good. If you were just like, what leads? I don't know. I'm like, okay, well,
Okay,
Gina, I
let's
don't know if you're the right.
reevaluate.
Yeah, let's talk about something else today. But yeah, so a lot of the listeners are in that boat of just like it is a dip in inquiries right now, and it
Yeah.
is kind of like a ghost town in the inbox. So
Hmm.
what are some ways that we can just kind of like cultivate more of a of more inquiries.
Yeah, like a steady stream. Well,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I think first it's just we're just gonna put it out there that like right now is a really weird time in the industry. Like it is slow
Mm,
for everybody. So if you look in Facebook groups online, if you listen to podcasts, you hear that everybody's kind of experiencing this dip. Like, and I don't want to say post COVID anymore because I'm so sick of saying post COVID. But like post COVID, there was like this craziness, and now we're like finding this weird like level off. Is this the new norm kind of thing? It's just different, and so everybody's experiencing like some level of dip, whether that's you had so many and now it's a little bit lower, or you had a little bit lower and now you have none. So that's normal right now. But we still want inquiries to be coming in because we have businesses to run. And so
yes.
how can we keep action coming into our inbox? And so I feel like that's kind of where we should start today.
Yeah.
And
No, that's a great
it's
place to start.
funny, I do a lot of mentor sessions, and this is like always the first question that I get is like, how do I get more inquiries? How do I get seen by more people? And the first thing I always do is go look at their one like social media, so like what's their online presence, because a lot of the time that's how they're going to be found. And then I also
Mhm.
look at their websites. Like those are like my first like two pit stops immediately out of the gate. And a lot of the time they are not showing up on social media. Like maybe they posted like a week ago. Maybe they haven't like done a story in who knows how long because they disappeared, but like not right now. And so like that's always like my very first thing is like you need to show up a little bit more on social. You need to let people know that you're alive and like
Right.
doing this. Yeah.
Yeah, you
So,
are a person, you're
yeah,
alive, people can
you're still
contact you.
being exactly, yeah. So that's kind of like my very first thing is like, okay, let's talk about your social media. Let's see what your presence is like online and like what you're putting out there
Mhm.
that allows people to connect with like you because that's ultimately what our like clients are looking for. They're looking for a photographer they can connect with and like have that like kindred relationship with. So what are you putting out there? So that's kind of like where I always start. And it needs to be consistent and it needs to be true to who you are and very genuine and just I feel like don't overthink it. Just show up.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, don't overthink it. Don't like, go through like, okay, what persona do I need to have on
Oh my god.
Instagram versus
Yeah.
TikTok versus,
Oh god.
all of these different things. It's like just be yourself
Yeah.
and show up. And,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are like, how much of myself do I show? Like how much of like how real do I get? Like I posted photos with some warnings. We talked about this before we started recording. I had a poison oak issue
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago, and I was like, hey, it was funny because I had just told Facebook or Instagram, I was like, hey, I'm gonna be showing up here more. I know I've kind of like not been around much. I haven't been showing my face on my stories like I used to, and like just talking with y'all. It's been a little hectic here the last few months, but I'm gonna show up. And then 2 days later, poison oak all over my
Just
face.
gone.
And I was like, I'm not showing up. I'm sorry. You don't want to see you don't want to see this right now. So now I've cleared up. I'm doing
Yeah.
okay. So I'm
He's
like
back.
I'm back. I'm in my stories.
Yeah.
But like showing up, like how do you know, how do you gauge like how much of um your personal life, how much of your
Mhm.
personality do you show without being like TMI,
Too
this is
much.
too much.
Yeah, yeah. And that's such a good question and something you kind of play around with. Um and I think like honestly like the biggest like takeaway, I guess, or tip is like something that my husband once told me. And I was like literally sitting on the floor, like, I don't know, should I post this? Like, I'm not sure. He's like, literally just post it because nobody cares. And like those words have stuck with me so hardcore that like I literally like whenever I'm like, I don't know if I should post this, I literally just hear him. And it's so true.
Yeah.
Like, especially if it's on a story, it's only going to be there for 24 hours. You can delete it later if it's like was a terrible mistake. But
Yep.
I think just putting it out there if you're feeling like you want to just put it out
Yes.
there because someone's going to connect with it and someone's going to relate to it and it's just another way to show up in terms of like does it always have to be your face? No, it doesn't. Like people want to know, they just want to be able to like understand who you are as a person. So like we had a long talk about tacos and coffee and like show like who you are and like what you're interested in and just anything that allows somebody else to connect with you. I think is like a good place to start because that's an easy place to start. Like you're not having to like pull up beautiful galleries and like have them cropped for Instagram and stuff. Like it's literally just like what you're doing like right now,
Yeah.
and it's easy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that. And like if you hadn't shared about your love for tacos on your social media, then I wouldn't have started our conversation talking about street tacos
It's
and how
true.
good it is, because like
Yeah.
that was something that I connected with you over Instagram, where I'm like,
Mhm.
yes, I
Immediately. Yeah.
also love tacos, and I
Mhm.
need to know what kind of tacos Gina loves, because if they're just like, oh, I love these, you know, oh man, I had some with like fried. I don't. We don't need to get back into tacos right now, but it was like fried poblano peppers on top of this like pork. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm definitely frying my peppers from now on,
You should
but
have shared that. Yeah.
yes, yeah, but like that kind of stuff is I love, what your husband said of just like share it, because nobody cares. Like
Nobody cares. Nobody cares, Gina.
nobody, yeah. Someone is either going to be like, I connect with this, that's awesome, or just
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
Click.
Swipe
Yes,
to the next story. Like
it's so true.
it's just something out there. You know,
Hmm.
we're not like celebrities where you've got
Yeah,
millions of people watching your stories and you have to be careful to like, I can't put this thing out there because like, stalkers and that kind of stuff.
yeah,
I mean, don't post your address in your
yeah.
stories.
Maybe not. Yeah,
I have to do that every now and then whenever I get like new mail, like a package or something, and I'm like excited about it. I'm like, I have to Sharpie out all
block
of
that out.
this. Yeah. I don't want people like showing up to my house. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's a good frame of mind of just like, just post it. Like if you
yeah.
want to post it. And
Hmm.
if an hour later you're like, I probably shouldn't have done that, I don't feel good about this now, there's the little three
Yeah,
buttons
yeah.
and you
Delete it.
just delete it. It is gone. And only the 17 people who saw it in the first hour anyway
Yeah,
have ever seen that. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I think with that, like the next question I normally get from people is like, I don't know what to post like for the week. Cause like it's one thing to
Mm-hmm.
post like in the moment, and I love that. Like that's very like authentic and genuine. But then like people get overwhelmed when they're like they'll go on like a streak of like 3 to 4 posts or 3 to 4 times on their story, and then they're like cold turkey. They're like out of ideas.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's like the next struggle for showing up consistently online, which again is going to lead to like being seen by more people, connecting with more people, ultimately more inquiries. So, I mean, we can talk about that a little bit. Just like how do you have content, create content, like show up continuously? Because that's hard.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, that is hard. We have Devin over on Facebook just like guilty, yes.
He's not
Which
alone. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I am totally there without some sort of direction. I get, cuz we like go through waves of
Yeah.
inspiration where I'm just like, this is amazing. I'm going to post this, and then tomorrow I'm going to post this, and then I like have all of this lined out. And then other times where it's just a Sahara desert of ideas, and I'm like, I am blanking on any caption, and I don't want to just like throw up a photo and be like, beautiful ceremony,
Yeah.
hashtag, wedding photographer. But like sometimes it's just like, that's all that I have today.
Sometimes that's okay. Also, like I would
Yeah,
post that other than versus like not posting,
not posting.
right?
Yes.
So because it's still putting yourself out there, showing your work, clients are going to see it.
Hmm.
But I think like one thing I don't know if you ever heard of like content pillars for like your
Yes.
business? Yes, and
Hmm.
so that's something that I pull from like regularly. So like 3 to 5 topics that you can put out there. I feel like it's like kind of a game changer in terms of like finding that rhythm with posting, because like you're like, "Ah, I posted a wedding yesterday. I don't want to post like another wedding today or another photo from the same wedding today. So like maybe post the flowers from this wedding and talk about like something else. Like, so yesterday you
Hmm.
talked about the couple at that wedding. Today you're going to talk to that client that's looking to book you and like give them a tip, give them something that can help them like with planning their wedding. So thinking about who you're trying to book and like how can you speak directly to them, and just pulling from those pillars throughout the week. And like that's 5 pillars, that's 5 posts, golden.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And we are not in the days of needing to post 5 times a day
Oh
and all of
yeah,
that
no,
to keep up with
no,
Instagram anymore. That is too much.
yeah,
But yeah, like having those pillars of, these are the things that are like the bedrock, the pillars of your business, and the stuff that
yeah,
you want to be known for, the stuff that you
mm-hmm.
want to talk about, and that you feel comfortable talking about, where you can talk about the details, and like, having those stories of, this is why this couple chose these flowers,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like get that kind of insight to where someone's going to maybe not feel the same way about these peonies, but they're like, oh no, I feel that way about begonias. I don't know, the
yeah.
begonias aren't really a wedding flower, but it's
I
cool.
don't even know what a
Someone,
begonia is.
I don't know what one is either. I was like, I was like, that's the only other flower I can think of right now.
I'm impressed.
Someone somewhere has had a begonia. I used to live on a street called Begonia, or no, next to a street called Begonia. So I was like, I know this is a flower because all the
It's a
streets have
flower.
flowers.
Yeah.
But yeah, like someone is going uh, to connect in some way to that kind of detail. And
Yeah.
could you go like maybe a little bit more into like what for someone who's just like, okay, cool, pillars, I don't know, what are
Mhm.
the pillars supposed to
Yeah.
be?
Yeah.
What kind of like a brief, what are some pillars that we can
Yeah.
use?
So, and this is like one that I usually like five that I normally start with like my people that I mentor and people that are kind of just getting started out and you're wanting to shoot weddings. One of your pillars is going to be like you. So that's like any way that you can put information about yourself out there that allows people to connect with you. So, who you are, three things people might not know about you, how you got started in photography, why you love shooting weddings, your favorite kind of taco, like random stuff about you that allows people to connect with you. That's going to be, it's like a you pillar.
Hmm.
Um, Another one is going to be wedding day. I like to say like wedding day work or wedding day content. And this is literally just showing like beautiful photos of weddings that is shot and edited in your style. So kind of like portfolio pieces. They're really like eye grabbing ones. Like people see these and like, that's beautiful photos. I want to know like more about this photographer. Another one, wedding day tips. So this is your potential clients. They come to your page and they're currently planning a wedding. What kind of tips can you give someone who's engaged in planning a wedding? You're the expert if you're in wedding photography. You know about way more about weddings than they do. So like, what can you tell them about how to have the best sunset photos, how to have the best getting ready photos, like how to set your day, your timeline up for success? Like these are all caption ideas under that pillar. And then I do the same thing with couples slash engagement sessions. So beautiful engagement sessions, and just sharing like either about the couple under that engagement session or the location or why that engagement session was awesome. And then the other one is like tips for engagement sessions slash couples sessions. So style tips, timing tips, time of year tips, location tips. There's so much you can share. So those are like my five starter ones for someone getting into wedding photography. And I feel like they're like a really good like base.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I those are so good to like kind of fall back on, because like you were saying,
Yeah,
like it's good to post those like uh, you have an idea, go ahead and post it.
yeah.
But yeah, whenever you are just like
You
hit
just
that wall, like
mhm,
Allison commented that it's really hard staying consistent.
it
And
is.
she feels like she does well for a few days and then it just goes crickets. And whenever you hit those crickets and you hear those crickets, it's like, okay, what are my five pillars? What are like what can I go back to that is my brand, that is me, that is
Hmm.
what people you know uh, want me to be showing up for, or what I want
Yeah,
to show up
yeah,
for people, and
yeah.
be able to just be like, okay, yeah, I haven't done this pillar in a while, let me
Yes.
put something together. And it should be something that like you as a wedding photographer, you should be able to give many tips,
Hmm. Hmm.
not just like photo related, but also like what emergency kit items do you need
Yes.
for getting ready, like all of those things that maybe not everyone knows about because you've been
Yeah.
in the industry for years, and it's like, oh yeah, I know this, but not
Yeah.
everyone planning a wedding knows this. Those kind of
Yeah.
things are easy to talk to and really great value for people.
Yeah. And when you are like trying to find that pillar, to Allison, who's like, I'll do good for like 4 days and then not know like what's next. I always like
Mm,
think of my grid in like a term of like 9 photo series. Kind of like when Instagram started, it was like you'd go to someone's profile and you'd see like the
yes.
last 9 photos.
Uh-huh.
So kind of like look at those 9 photos. I always think like at least one of those needs to be a you. Because people like I would never book a photographer like if I couldn't find their face and like who they are within
Yeah.
like a scroll or two. Like I want to
No.
connect with someone. So
Yeah.
within your
Even for
last
our
nine
family for
posts,
photos, I'm like,
oh,
I need
any
to
yeah, any
know
photographer.
who this is. Like, I
Yeah,
want to see you. I want to
yeah.
see, like, even if you're gonna pin some posts, like I want one of
Hmm.
your pin posts to be
Yeah.
about you, or your highlight stories or something. I want to
Yeah.
see one where I can be like, okay, this is who I'm going to be working with.
So that's like one of my like golden rules is like last 9 I need to like be showing up somewhere and it needs to be you. And
Mm,
then you can kind of like just work within those 9 squares because that's like less overwhelming than like your entire feed.
yes.
In terms of like what am I missing? What haven't I posted in a while? What do I need to show more of? Kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So for social media, that's the kind of stuff we need to be showing up for and doing,
Yeah.
and like, and that's what you see a lot with the people that are just like, I'm not getting any leads right now, because in your last 9, or even sometimes in your last 90, you have not
Yeah.
shown your face. People don't
Yeah.
know who it is. There's so many times that I'll get like a new follower. I love to reach out to new followers and just be like, hey, so and so. But there are so many photographers that I click on their profile. Name is not in the bio
Yeah.
at all. It's not in their tag, which mine is. I'm all heart photo. I chose not to name it after myself, but like I have John in there. So
In
anyone
there.
who, yeah, it's just like it's
Yeah.
all heart photo John. So
Yeah.
anyone who goes to my profile knows, oh, it's this is the guy. This is who it
This is the
is.
guy. Yeah.
And yeah, it's there's so many photographers. I'm just like, I'm scrolling just to find a photo of someone like holding a camera, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Who
this is
are
gonna
you?
be you. And like, even on your website sometimes it's just like, I've got to scroll down on the
Hmm.
about me, because it's not like about Gina, it's just
Yeah.
like about the photographer. I'm like, but what is your name? So
Who
yeah.
are you?
Who is this
Yeah.
person?
Yeah, and that's the other thing I check immediately, like on their website. Like before I even have to scroll, I'm like, I want at the top, I want to know like what you do, where you are, who you are, and like how do I book you? Like I need all that like thrown at my face immediately.
Yes. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that is a good point. Like before the scroll, above the
Yeah.
fold, right
Yeah.
here, you land on the page. Do I know who you are? Do I know where you're based and what you do, and how can I
Mhm.
book you?
Yeah.
All need to be right there.
Right at
Yeah,
the top.
right
So
at the top. Okay, so what are
yeah,
what
those
are
are
some
my
other
first
things that
first
kind of
couple.
website stuff that might not be working the best to bring in some more leads?
Yeah, I think so in addition to like what we just mentioned at the top of your website,
Hmm.
and in addition to like having that contact me, book me, whatever the button is where they can get in touch with you at the very top, like it should not be hard to find. One test I like to do is like if someone comes to your site, like how long does it take them to submit an inquiry to you? So it should not require like multiple pages and it should be so fast. So just like any way you can cut back on the time it takes for someone to come to your site, be like, yes, I want to talk to this person and like submit an inquiry. Like we just want to minimize that like time. So that's one way to like just like don't give them any reason to like not submit that inquiry. And time is
Yes.
like one of those things.
Oh yeah.
Um, right. And then
Yeah.
also I think overall like aesthetics of your website. And I don't want to say you need to go hire a website designer because you don't. But you do need to have everything like very aesthetically pleasing, very cohesive. Like your fonts should be very easy to read and against colors that are easy on the eyes. Like that's like one of my first like deterrents of booking not only a photographer but like literally any business. If their like website is clunky or slow or just like not pretty, I'm like seriously, it's so easy to create a beautiful website these days. Like no.
It's
So
so, yeah.
that's like
This is
yeah.
not 2006 anymore,
Yeah.
where it's just like, I need to know HTML and how to
Oh
figure out
god.
all these fonts and everything.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, it is.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple, I think.
Yeah.
If you're worried about that, keep it really simple. Don't try to like over cutesy anything.
Yes, that is a great point, because so many
Yeah.
times we get too into designer mode
Hmm.
of, okay, well, I can't have this font because it's just like it's a plain sans serif
Yeah.
font, and I need to have some like, ooh, this is like a curly little scripty
Yeah.
font. This would be great. And then people are like, I don't,
Yeah.
you're pulling it
You're
up
like,
on your
what does it
phone like,
say?
I don't know. What do you do? Is, oh,
Yeah.
photographer. Okay.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
yeah, there are so many script fonts that I'm like, I'm lost. I have
Yeah.
no idea, because it's also like very thin,
Yeah.
like
And just
opacity
don't put
too.
any like if you are gonna use a script, don't put any like super important information in the script, like, right?
Yeah.
Like it can be like detail stuff.
Yeah. Like the script font that I have on my website says, "Oh hey." It's just like
Perfect.
on
Nailed
the
it.
about me, and it's
Yep.
just, "Oh hey, if you can't
Yeah.
read this, it doesn't
It's
matter."
okay. It's
It's
okay.
like it says I'm John right underneath that, and you
Yeah.
can kind of figure out like, I don't know, that was some script thing that I can't read, but this is about John. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
what's going on. So yeah, no important information in that script. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I think also like revisiting the images that are on one, your homepage, and two, your contact page. Um, like I feel like when I work with photographers that are starting out, like a lot of us start out shooting anything we can, right? And a lot of the times it's like families because that's a really
Mhm.
easy like thing to find to shoot. So I'll see a lot of like photographers that are trying to get into weddings, and I'll go to their website and they have like a lot of photos of families because that's the content that they have right now. But as like a wedding client, like I'm gonna be like, I want a wedding photographer. Like that's who I want to book.
Yeah.
So I always am like, you need to have the photos on your website need to like align with like the people you're trying to book. And that goes for social media too, like putting out there what you want to be booking. Same thing on your website. So all of the images and especially like that homepage and the contact page, they need to be like exactly what you want to be booking.
Yes. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, and even if you are still shooting those family photos regularly, like
Yeah. Which
if
is
you're
great.
wanting to attract the leads for wedding clients, have wedding images up there.
Yep. Yeah.
Don't just like, post like, well, I shot, 10 family sessions this month and only one wedding. So I'm going to put 10 family photos per one wedding photo. It's like, no, who do
No.
you want to be booking? That's what you need to be posting.
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, having that up there, and like I am a big fan of separate pages, like separate galleries for
Hmm.
things, and not having like wedding photos and family photos and newborns and
Yeah.
birthday events and all of that like kind of cycling through together, but having like weddings and elopements and engagements maybe
Hmm.
together, and families and other events. But
Yeah.
yeah, having that separate to where the people that, even if they do, they're like, I know that you shoot weddings, and but you also do family photos, and then they
Other
go to
things.
that wedding gallery and they're like, okay, this is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
This is all cohesive
Yeah.
and makes sense for what I'm looking
I
for.
think like putting yourself in the shoes of an engaged couple, like they want to book a photographer who specializes in weddings, is an expert in weddings, knows
Yep.
weddings in and out. So like that's what you need to be putting out there. I know
Yes.
like if I was hiring a wedding photographer, like I wouldn't hire someone that has like a ton of family photos and like the occasional wedding photo. Like I want a wedding photographer.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, me too. And the same with, hiring a family photographer. I don't
Yeah.
want someone who's like got a bunch of product photos and food
Yeah.
photography, and then I'm like, I mean, you lit this like spaghetti bolognese very, very
It's
well.
good.
However, I don't know about like my 5-year-old in a field. Like, is this gonna translate? So yeah, having what you want to be booked, having those photos and that portfolio out there readily available, not in a like, okay, you got to go to this page and then this thing, and it's a hidden link over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like that contact information, like you said, top of the page. This,
Mhm.
how quickly can they book you? And I know that for a while there were a few web designers who were like, you want to like lead them through your website, and then the end goal is the contact page. It's like, yes and no. I get that. Like, you do want them to see all the aspects of your website, but
Yeah.
also like, if you are taking them from your homepage to your about page to your portfolio page to the investment page, and then on the investment page it's like, and here's where you contact,
Yeah.
that is, it's putting a lot of pressure on them to be on your website for more than 20
Oh
seconds.
yeah. Yeah.
And so many people are just like, I just want to, especially for weddings, like you
Mhm.
find some photos that you like, and you're like, I will fill out their contact form and hear about them and their prices. And I'm going to do that to 10 other people because,
Exactly. That's
yeah,
what I was gonna say. Is like a lot of these clients for weddings specifically, they're reaching out to like 5 to 10 other photographers to get their prices. So that's a lot of like time for them on other people's websites too. So how can you just make sure that you don't lose them before they find your contact page and submit that inquiry? And like we can even talk about like your inquiry form too, like not making it too long, making it easy to fill out, the information you need, but like easy enough for them to just get done, because you don't want to lose them there either once you get them there.
right. Yeah, no, speak to that for a little bit. Like, because I've seen some contact forms that are just so much about like how many guests are going to be at your wedding. Is this going to be indoor, outdoor? Uh, is the photographer going to have a meal? I'm like, do we need to know this in the
We don't
contact
need
form?
to know this. Yeah, right now. No. I would keep it simple. You need their names, you need their date, you need their where they're getting married. That's like information that you need to get them the information that they need in terms of like pricing. And then I usually just leave an open blank and I have some like prompting questions above it. I normally get novels written to me, which I love, but every now and then I don't. And it's not a reflection of the couple submitting the inquiry. I'm like, you probably submitted 8 to 10. And in my opinion, I'm like,
Yep.
these are people I need to talk to because like they're also interviewing other photographers right now. So how can I connect with them? So keep it short and simple, and then save those questions for number of guests, just details about your wedding for that initial like phone call, because that's where you're going to connect. And that gives you something to talk about too. If you have all the information out of the gate, like I don't know, what are you going to talk
Right. You're like,
about?
so I saw on your form you said you're going
Subtle.
to have about 150 guests. And they're like, yeah. All right, cool. And then it was like, there's nothing to talk about. There's
Yeah.
no more like follow up questions.
Yeah.
And yeah, that definitely gives you more of that opportunity to show your personality and like how you
Yeah.
can talk to them and all of that, and get to know them a little bit more, um,
Yeah.
rather than asking all of those questions up front. Because whenever I see a super long contact form,
Oh yeah.
sometimes people are filling these out over lunch breaks or
Oh
over
yeah.
like the boss isn't looking right now, so I'm just gonna fill this out for a
Sure.
second, and then someone walks in and they can't fill out the entire thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
having those like 4 or 5 standard questions of like
Mhm.
your name, your soon to be spouse's name, your email, and where you're getting married, and what date. These are like,
Yeah.
those are the main things you
That's all you
need.
need.
Everything
That's
else
all you
is
need.
just extra.
Yeah.
So yeah, take a look at your contact form. If yours is a novel and super long, then maybe that could be, a reason why why you're not
Yeah.
getting as many.
Yeah.
um,
And I guess
yeah.
like two other points for getting inquiries. I was like, let's not forget these.
Yes.
One is I like to talk about networking, and this is like in terms of your own social circle, but also in terms of like the industry. And the other one I like to talk about is blogging, and that's kind of like an extra one, so we can like save that if we get to it. It's good to do blog and like have your information like be able to be found by Google and that stuff. But it's
Mhm.
also like I would start with like networking and your social circle and that spot first in terms of
Yeah.
inquiries.
Yeah. My light just turned off. my
Mine
my
got like really bright. I think I
I
like sucked
know.
your light
Yeah. Yeah, I
away.
think so. I was like, my eyes are just like black dots now.
Darkness.
And yours are bright and glistening. It's amazing. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it's
So
fine.
you with your bright eyes, just go
Yeah.
on about
Let's talk
about
about networking. How
let's go
about
some networking. Yeah.
yeah? Because I do feel like that's a huge thing for getting inquiries.
Yes.
One thing I usually start with especially new photographers is like, are you using your personal social media and connections and friends and family? Do they know what you're doing? Because especially getting started, like that's where you're gonna be found. Like your cousins are going to share your information with one of their circles and their friends getting married and that kind of thing. So making sure that you're sharing what you're doing. I'm like so bright. Sorry. There we go. I felt like a influencer there. I was like, you
Yeah.
know how they do that?
Oh yeah, just like to get that focus.
I know nothing. Um, yeah, so start with your own social circles. Make sure that everybody that like knows you, like friends and family and extended family, knows what you're doing and like what you want to be doing. But
Hmm.
also industry friends, and this is like a huge one. I think for me specifically, this is like where I saw so much growth in my business. Was like once I started making those friends in the industry. Other photographers, other videographers, planners, venues, and just like making those super genuine connections. That's like the biggest reason I think my inquiries are so steady is that I get a lot of referrals from like venues and planners, other photographers too. So I think you could start there as well.
Yes. Yeah. That is something that I think is overlooked a lot of times
Yeah,
because it's just like, well, I don't know. Yeah, I want to focus on the couples and all of that. But, a lot of times the couples are booking their venues first because it's like
yeah,
I've got to have a date set before I book a photographer because otherwise
yeah.
it's just like, well, I don't know, get back to me once you have this figured out.
You have that. Yeah,
And, if they're booking a venue and then the venue's just like, oh, hey, this is a photographer that we've worked with that we love and they know the place out here, and then they have that kind of referral. That is a great way to
yeah,
to bring in more inquiries. I mean, that was one of the I've moved my business like multiple times
yeah.
from a city to a new one, and that's one of the first things I do is just like go tour a bunch of venues, go meet a bunch of people,
Yeah.
and like
Mhm,
befriend people, and
mhm.
not in a way of like I want to get on your preferred vendor list and like send me
Yeah,
all of your
yeah,
people, but just like I want to make these connections. I want to have these things to where even whenever you do get that organic lead coming in that's just like, hey, we're getting married at the Pine Oaks whatever place, and you're like, Pine Oaks, yeah, I know that place because I haven't shot out there, but I know it, and like you can speak to like, oh
yeah.
man, the sunset over that little pond that they have
Mhm.
out there behind the oak tree, that is amazing. And then they're just like, oh, you know the place, so I
Yeah.
feel comfortable with you, instead of just like, I don't know, I'll check it out on
Yeah.
Google and
Let me Google
see.
it.
It's
Yeah.
cool. But yeah, like making those connections
Mhm.
is such a great way, and that's one of those like compounding type
Yes. Yeah.
inquiries where you know there are uh, so many people, so many other vendors and other photographers that I have met and befriended 3 5 years ago, and then like just recently I photographed a wedding. I think it was probably like 2014, 2015, with this makeup artist, and it was a small wedding out in the middle of nowhere. She's a makeup artist who is also kind of out in the middle of nowhere, just like a small little town, like Barn Hair something in the name. And like we were friends. We befriended each other, followed each other on Instagram. I sent her photos and like behind the scenes stuff of her.
Yeah.
And now, 2013, you know, eight 8 years later, she was like, "Hey, my sister's getting married, and
Mhm.
I thought of you." And I was like, this is a connection that like I've had for years and years, and
Yeah.
hasn't been something that is like maybe like a planner or a venue where they're just like constantly sending stuff, but it's something that I cultivated, and not in a way to get work from her, but just like
Mhm.
we built a friendship, and now she's like, oh, I know John because we're
Yeah.
friends, and we worked together that one time 8 years ago, and now her sister just booked with me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, this is something like things are going to compound over the years.
Yes. Yeah. I always like call that like your frienders. And
Yes.
you ultimately want to have like as many frienders as possible. So I think that comes down to like you said, like being genuine, sharing behind the scenes with them. Um, but also just like in like having like good energy like when you are working along someone. I
Hmm.
can't tell you how many like vendors afterward are like, oh my God, that was like such a fun day. Like the energy was so right. Like you seem like you love what you're doing, that kind of thing. And it's like when you're working a wedding, like you should be loving what you're doing and you should be putting out good energy. You shouldn't like be going behind the curtain and like complaining about things. Save that for when you like
Yes.
get home. Sure.
Right.
Like keep
Yeah.
that to yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
Because people
Yeah.
don't want that negative energy. They don't want it.
No, there are so many planners that I've worked with. Not so many. There are a few planners that I've worked with that they just rant and just complain about everything behind. Like we get into another room without the couple, and they're just like, I can't believe they want to do this, and just like talking about this and like talking bad about other vendors. I'm like, I don't want to work with you. Like this
Yeah.
is not the energy that I need, and this is definitely not the energy that we need for the couple on their wedding day.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
So, yeah, putting out good energy.
Yes, all of the good energy. I love all of that, and and just kind of briefly talking about blogging, but like blogging is not dead. Like you
No,
said,
no.
that SEO, Google searches, and all of that, you find a lot of stuff through blogs.
Yeah.
Um,
And like
people.
you can like Google it and be like blogging etiquette or blogging for SEO. There's so much information, like free education information out there about this.
Oh yeah.
But just like I think some of the biggest like ways people have found me through Google is like blog posts that are specifically for venues or specific locations.
Hmm.
And things like when people are planning. So like bridesmaids dresses for 2023. Like that's one that for some reason gets like a ton of traffic. It's like a blog post that I have because people are searching that. So blog posts that are like searchable that people are searching. Think about like what are people typing into Google and like what kind of blog posts and information can you put out there to like pop up.
Yes. Yeah. Thinking of like putting yourself in their shoes of
Yeah.
what are they searching for? And now I can speak to this.
Yeah.
It's such a great way. Like that's mine. Most of mine that rank the highest and bring in the most traffic are like locations or just that
Yeah.
like this is a tip of I have one that's like local, like 15 or 17 of my favorite engagement locations,
Oh yeah.
engagement session locations around the city, and that one is constantly bringing in people and constantly getting new leads where they're just like, hey, I saw this photo that you did that was on a rooftop downtown Houston, like where is this? And then I am an open book. I'm just like, oh yeah, it's this place, and also if you need a
Here's the
photographer,
pin.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, oh yeah, what are your prices?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's as these are all like super great ways of bringing in more leads, and also like all of these are showing the people who are looking for you, it's showing them that you are active and that
Yeah.
you are a professional and that you're doing what you're doing,
Expert.
through
Yeah.
through blogging, through networking,
Mhm.
knowing other people in the industry, through having a cohesive website that is easily navigatable and that you can go directly to booking,
Yeah.
and having that good presence on social media where your face is there and they know who you are and they feel that connection,
Yeah.
and they can be like, I also love tacos, I'm gonna see if Gina's down for grabbing some tacos after our
Exactly. Yeah.
engagement session. But yeah,
Let
okay,
people
this
connect with you. Let people in.
exactly, yeah. Okay, so before we kind of wrap up and we can let people know where to follow you and like connect and all that, and make those connections with you, there's part of the show that I like to do where we talk about what we're loving this
Mhm.
week or right now. Could be literally anything from like a movie, TV show, book, whatever. Is there something that you are loving right now?
Oh, you should know about my personality is that I love a lot of things. Like I'm a
Yes.
lover. Like I
Yeah.
am
Yeah,
very much
that
like
it
everything
shouldn't
is
have been
amazing.
like, is there something you're loving right now? It's like, what is one thing that you're
Yeah.
loving right now?
What is one thing? You know what I'm loving right now? Okay, I'm also very pregnant, so it's like shooting weddings right now has been it's a struggle. I mean, I love
Yeah.
it's great and I love it, but I've had to like kind of figure out like how I'm gonna survive. And I just got a pair of Hoka shoes, and they're not the like most like attractive shoes, but like Lord, my feet feel good in them. And so
Yeah.
I'm gonna say my Hoka shoes right now I am loving. I
Nice.
do look
Nice.
like maybe like an older woman, but it's fine.
But you feel good. And
I feel good, and I can last the whole wedding day without my feet hurting.
that is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the I need to find some better shoes because I'm always like wearing dress shoes.
Yeah.
And
Ooh,
and
that's hard.
those are fine. But yeah, toward the like the middle of the reception, I'm just like, I just need to take these off. I just need to
Yeah.
go barefoot. And that's not appropriate
I
for
hope
me.
you do that.
Yeah.
I hope you just one day just like look over you on the dance floor, like toesies.
This is
Toesies are out.
thing that I have, I'm just like, oh,
Oh
this is
yeah.
great because I'm just gonna be barefoot. It's cool and acceptable. Um, but yeah, okay, well, awesome. Let's see. What am I loving this week? I am
Yeah.
loving, other than that new street taco place that I found.
Mm.
I'm loving a show on Netflix called Alice in Borderland.
Ooh.
It's a Japanese show. It's dubbed over in English, um, and it's really interesting. It's kind of a little sci-fi-ish. It's got some uh, like Squid Game esque type
Okay.
feel to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm liking that a lot.
Oh, awesome. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. Okay. Where can people find you? Where can they follow along and all?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram pretty actively at Gina.Paulson. And then GinaPaulson.com. That's like where you'll find me all the time.
Perfect. Okay.
Cool.
Well,
Easy.
sweet. Well, yeah, I'll have those linked in the show notes for everyone. You can just click on through and go. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, Gina, this was so
Come say
great.
hi.
I loved getting to connect with you on here and chat, and this was a very informative for everyone. So thank you so much for being
Oh,
on the show.
good. Yeah, thank you. This was awesome.
Well, thank you, YouTube and Facebook, everyone that chimed